Welcome everybody here to the Join Dota studio. I gotta say hello from everybody here at JD and myself, Toby1. I'll be your caster for today, bringing the only matches that Join Dota is actually producing today from the D2CL. We're doing the Chinese division, and I swear to you, there's no fires here unless something goes horribly wrong and the world is just turning against us. Let's get into the game with enough trolling put aside, as we have CDEC Gaming going up against VG Gaming Potential. That's right, I'm looking for potential in tonight's game, and of course look for also potential in my co-caster, potential for his Skype to work and hold stable, and also for him to be very happy. How you doing tonight, Pandago?
I'm happy, and Skype is stable for now, but I can't make any promises.
I'm happy with just for now. If for now is all we've got, Pandago, for now is all we get.
It's so weird, man. I never have any problems with Skype except for when I'm doing calls with you. I don't know what it is. Got something going on here.
Just me? Just me? Wait, okay.
Just you.
Great. Yeah, so when you cast with Cap or whenever you cast with Durka, everything's 100%
pretty much.
smooth. But
it doesn't make sense.
I appear to be the albatross. Fair enough.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. All right, let's look into our game, man. Because I'm kind of interested to cast these teams for what is basically the first time with this roster for CDEC and the very first time for VG Gaming Potential, because we haven't seen much, if anything, really from them. Like, I've only got 3 games on record when I was going back and going, okay, well, what notes do we have to look at here? And the only matches they have are from the D2CL. That's it. Up against LGD, up against Immortal Magneto, as well as up against Terrorblade, which I also found that name possibly the most amusing Chinese name I've seen.
Reserve time.
Yep, a lot of new things happen in the Chinese scene. I mean, obviously I haven't seen much of them either. I was just looking at Dota, and I think they only had 5 or 6 games, like you said. But one thing I did see is they picked Earthshaker a lot. I think out of like their 5 or 6 games, they picked it 4 games, and they were 75% with it. So.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of the captain bias as well, as you see James is the man doing the drafting for them, and he's the one that plays the Earthshaker. I'm actually trying to find where Lin is here, but it looks like he's not actually here tonight. They have a stand-in who is this SSS loves DU, but we'll just call him S. But he's actually not even the stand-in. He's an official player.
10 seconds remaining.
So we're missing somebody else. Yang's here. He's their solo mid.
5 seconds remaining.
At least I'm assuming it's solo mid. He was actually, sorry, I take it back. Sorry, he's not the solo mid. I remember I double-checked their notes last night, and he's in fact their safe lane solo. Their solo mid is in fact who plays. I got matches for him from Invoker, Storm Spirit, and a whole bunch of other things. They played a Wiz Tiny combination. He actually moved into an Animage role as well.
Mid-Animage.
Yeah, but that only seemed to be because they swapped the sniper into the
10
mid.
seconds remaining.
But one thing which I did notice about them was there was this guy called
5
Lin.
seconds remaining.
And Lin, who I'm not seeing in the list tonight, who might just be Secret. And I think that's actually who he is. I think Secret is in fact Lin. He is their Zeus player. And they play a hell of a lot of Zeus. Which is surprising when they ban him out in the second phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good ban, though. AA with, like, Zeus or Spectre, they banned both of them, but if you get one of the two, it's a pretty hard hero to deal with, especially for Sniper. Just one of them is hard, too, is, like, impossible. That's one of the really strong counters to Sniper, and just generally any lineup that kind of wants to, like, kite you around and has squishy heroes. Zeus, Spectre, AA. You just blast them with AA ult, press your R button, and they die.
I want to before we wrap up our draft, which we're kind of getting to anyway. I just want to say hello everyone on the live stream. I hope you're enjoying me back for a couple of days casting Dota 2 before I return to CS:GO. But I'm asking your help. Get out there on the social networks. It is rather early in the morning over here in Europe. And of course, if you're down in Southeast Asia, it's the perfect time of the afternoon. So please get on your Facebooks, your Twitters. I don't care if you got to go to other people's Twitch live streams and spam our links until you get banned. Go ahead and do it. Get the word out that Join Dota Red is currently live. We'll be live for the next 4 hours. We have two game series coming your way. We start with VG Gaming, Potential going up against CDEC Gaming, and we'll end our day with LGD going up against CDEC. So looking forward to that matchup as well. This is kind of your warm-up your warm-up game. Obviously, with CDEC Gaming coming in as the obvious
10
favorites.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's your warm-up game to our bigger match this afternoon.
5 seconds
But
remaining.
let everybody know we're live. Let everybody know we're live. And, okay, Pendago, this mad cow,
Reserve time.
he is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Every second draft I was looking up has a space cow in it.
Yeah. He's finally getting picked. I mean...
Is he still doing the role as the offlaner, however?
It just depends. In Earthshaker Spiritbreaker is a really, really like greedy support combo. So most likely in this game,
Dire team banned.
you'd expect to see him in the offlane. I mean, he can be offlane and he can be support. I think those are pretty much the only two roles you can consistently run him at. Carry would be kind of greedy and all in. You'd have to get really farmed really quick and pretty much try to end the game quickly,
10
which with
seconds
how
remaining.
Dota is now, it's just not a smart way to play. So yeah, I think offlane is a safe bet this game.
5
But I think he's
seconds
still a
remaining.
good support in the right situations.
As far as this situation goes, the CDEC
Reserve
Gaming
time.
draft isn't that strong against him. Like, SK Burrow Strike could cause him some level of problems, and the Clockwork Cogs as well, but currently they're the only two abilities, Queen of Pain as well as Ancient Apparition.
He actually passes
have
through
no control.
cogs.
He does?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's pretty good against Clockwork and bad, though. I mean, he still gets interrupted by Battery Assault, so, I mean, obviously you can't stop your charge, so you kind of just have to run into him and hope that you don't get mini stun. And then obviously Hook can still stop it if you really need to
Radiant team pick.
hook him. But as of right now, yeah, Sand King's a pretty good counter, just because it's such a fast, like, if once you get your blink, you can cover a lot of ground if you see a Spiritbreaker, like, running through the trees or just charging one of your heroes. It's really easy to just protect someone. But then again, CDEC doesn't really have any heroes that need protecting right now. All those heroes are pretty hard for Spiritbreaker to just go on in general. Like Queen of Pain can blink away and
10
like
seconds
make Spiritbreaker
remaining.
dive really deep. Sand King, he's got Burrow Strike
5
and can cancel
seconds
it.
remaining.
AA, I guess, but most of the time, Spiritbreaker versus AA is actually kind of good because a lot of times
Reserve
AA wants to be
time.
on the other side of the map, kind of doing his own thing, and you can just charge in and kill the AA by yourself and get out. So that might be one of the reasons why they picked it. It's a good like counter support against that, but it's
So
kind of a
base-
weird pick, just because he doesn't really do that much besides kill AA. They don't like usually when you pick Spiritbreaker, you want
Dire
to
team pick.
like maybe go against a sniper so you can dive in and go on him, or maybe a BKB hero that you can, it goes through BKB so you can ult people and like CC them for a little bit, but that's the main reasons why you'd want to pick a Spiritbreaker.
I'm looking at him in this game more as a tank that just soaks everything up. You're playing an
True.
Ember Spirit as well as a sniper, two heroes that could potentially find themselves being glass cannons. So the better
10
way of just
seconds
getting around that
remaining.
is let Spiritbreaker be the guy that runs in. If Earthshaker's able to get a nice
5 seconds
follow-up stun,
remaining.
that's great. Laguna Blade, you're going to find a pick-off on the Quap or the AA if you get capable of doing that. The
Reserve
Earthshaker
time.
range on his fissure, it's going to be more than enough to give Spiritbreaker time to just keep the bashes coming. And then Ember Spirit and Sniper get space. That's the worst thing that can happen when you're going up against an Ember Spirit and a Sniper, and we get a Life Stealer. Man, how long has it been since he has been... I swear it's been 6 months for me.
That sounds about right. He's definitely fallen off, but he's been seeing a little bit more popularity. I mean, slowly, people have been saying like, "Hey, this hero exists still. We should try picking." Because it's pretty rare that a hero in Dota is so bad that it's like unpickable. There's obviously a few that are just like, if you pick it, people just say have to like do a double take. Lifestealer is like almost at that point, but there's certain games where he can still really shine. Like NIP picks him sometimes. Era likes it. I know. There's a few people that like it's a really good niche pick. I don't know about this game though, because usually when you pick it, it's against like obviously a really tanky carry, or they have a ton of magics like stuns and stuff that like it's basically he's a natural BKB, so you don't need to waste money on a BKB. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh wow.
Yeah, they're just
they want
running
to block
themselves
Sankey's
up.
jungle.
They do want to charge up, and they found their target. You said that Spiritbreaker would target the Ancient Apparition. He gets right on top of him, the Shrapnel, trying to cover the area up a little bit more. It's Garda who's the main man in trouble. Getting beaten back, but he does get back to the Tier 2 tower anyway. Shrapnel charges. He used two of them to try and track that down. But the rest of VG.P were just too far away. They keep the battle going inside the jungle. But they won't find any kills here, and they're just wasting time now.
I think they wanted to block the pull, which would have been a really smart play from them if they would have noticed that there was no sentry wards on either of the supports, because they should have been able to check both of them right there. They saw Sinking had boots. If they would have blocked the pull and blocked the jungle camps right there, CDEC would have been in massive trouble. Because then you just have to not get ganked by the Sinking and like not feed in the off lane, which shouldn't be that hard with Spirit Breaker against those heroes, and you are going to massively outlevel them in the early game because they can't stack, they can't pull, and they have to wait for 200 gold on either of their supports to do anything.
I'm just going to let everyone know too, I apologize for any rough zooming out that happens during the broadcast night. We are here in our Studio 3, which needs a couple of modifications before Zoom becomes a little bit smooth, because we're switching the 720 and 1080p resolutions around. So yeah, just bear it in mind that you might get a little bit of vertigo. But apart from that, it should be smooth sailing. As we said, no fires here. No fire zone, man. No fire zone.
Spared you future loss.
Alright. Well, I'm a little concerned for this Clockwork on the bottom lane. Just if he gets Searing Chained. Nothing else. I still feel his lane's quite stable. Oh wow, top lane. Is that really going to be a first blood? If he gets himself a second lucky bash here, not possible. The movement speed advantage belongs to the Lifestealer, but the Spirit Breaker's getting really up in the face. The first blood's actually going to be in middle lane, and it's Yang trying to actually get the last hit into the Queen of Pain. Unable to do so. It's the SK rotation in, coming with Q on that Ancient Apparition. That's the successful one here.
Yep, good way to punish snipers. That was really aggressive, though. I mean, he should have known, based on the way his Spirit Breaker is playing up top, like he's diving on the Lifestealer 1v1ing him. Like, they are up to something with the supports if they're not like killing the Spirit Breaker when he's at 10% HP and diving after the Lifestealer. So I think that was sort of just a miscommunication from them, but that's something to expect from newer teams. It's definitely something that will happen a lot in the laning phase. People just get so focused on their own thing.
Might also be because it's their first game of the night.
True. Well, I really doubt they would go into a match situation without practicing at least one game beforehand, but maybe. I don't know. I don't know Chinese do it that well, but as far as I know...
If you want to have potential, you got to put in the practice, man. Is that...
Yeah. They're super disciplined. I'm sure they played like 8 hours today before they got into this game. Maybe that's a problem though, right? Maybe they're already burnt out. No, I'm sure that's not the case.
Yeah, I doubt
but
it.
Spirit Breaker's wrapping around a mid, but I don't think he can
though.
really kill Co-op. Yeah.
This Star Observer Ward is watching him pretty damn closely. So Queen of Pain will just back up every time they think the SB's gone missing. But the SB doesn't want to leave this lane because there's still so much experience. As long as the Burrow Strike is down, he can charge himself away to safety. So he's perfectly alright with that one.
And they're not really going to be able to threaten him if they don't use Burrow Strike, right? It's going to be really hard. Okay,
they got the combo. They actually managed to get the combo off with the Cold Feet as well as the Burrow Strike. Even with the Chilling Touch bonus damage, they're incapable of killing off this SB.
It would have been close. I'm surprised SK gave up on that because he still had one charge on his chilly hands.
I think they realized they couldn't get the kill. That's all it really came down to. It's like, why chase a little bit further, do another bit of chip damage when they assume the SB is doing exactly what he's going to do, which is walk all the way back to base.
Yeah. Yeah, they need the Lifestealer in that situation. If they got that kind of combo with Lifestealer nearby, it would have been a really easy kill. But unfortunately, they could not. Spirit Breaker is doing pretty well, though. I mean, he's almost level 4. Clockwork is doing nice. He's actually 4.5. Is he dead here?
Yeah, I think he is.
I just casually bought to check his level, and the support Lina is killing him.
I was just sitting there to watch and see.
Is it a support Lina?
Yeah,
what's going on?
It's a support Lina.
I'm so confused. He just got tons of levels because he killed them. I was like, why is the support Lina 4.5 and the Ember is 3.5?
Because the Ember was going to pick up the bottom rune.
Yeah, and he solo killed the level 4.5 Clockwork. But it's just weird because I guess he's been taking a lot of experience because Clockwork's been pulling the lane back too. Generally, don't want to try and soak up that much experience as Lina, or as a support rather, the 5 support.
I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I know you're up with the Ember Spirit, and he needs to find farm, and especially levels 2. Okay, top. That's possibly the best, luckiest bash Spirit Breaker could have asked for. He's going to get Burrow Strike to locked in a corner, and this means he has to charge away. But But if he didn't get that bash, the Bar Strike would have connected, and the Cold Feet would have had more time to 1, do damage, and 2, proc on the Spirit Breaker, and he'll be dead. So the RNG God shot on the SB. Yeah.
This combo is actually working out pretty nicely for them. The just SKA are able to put a lot of pressure on the Spirit Breaker.
As far as the Lina leveling, the reason why I'm 100% okay with this is because I want to see the rotations coming out from the Lina, working together with the Earthshaker, who's still not even level 2 yet, 5 minutes in. But by having them together, that Laguna Blade, you can ensure a kill over on someone like the Ancient Apparition. And with the Spirit Breaker charging in as well, you might even find more than that.
Yeah. I think what probably was happening is Lina was pulling. I actually wasn't watching bottom lane very closely because the Earthshaker is very underleveled. I thought he was maybe pulling, but no, he's definitely just been stacking camps and kind of just sitting behind mid. I find... Yeah, he's just been stacking this camp for Sniper. They're trying to really accelerate their Sniper's farm, which is good. Sniper, if he gets ahead, is a pretty big problem to deal with, whereas Earthshaker, he can catch up pretty quickly, and he doesn't really need a ton of farm. I mean, obviously having Earthshaker with Blink is huge, but I think, like you said before, getting Lina the early levels of Earthshaker just to 6 is really important, and then once you have 6 on Lina, Earthshaker can focus on... Oh, mid's getting hooked right here.
Yep, that was Yang. He got really aggressive on the Queen of Pain. The Fidge is going to buy a little bit of space. Surprisingly, threw a little bit further to the left, however. But with the Slaves, they were looking for the assassination over onto the Lina. If that Slave could connect, I don't think they would have had enough damage to get the kill. Plus, you've got the Blink ability. So you'll still be able to disjoint it. If you get your timing right, of course.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy. As long as it's long range.
If you actually check out the net worth, however, like, for all the harassment which has been coming the way of the Queen of Pain, as we now see it, with the Earthshaker Fissure and Assassination, she drops to 53 life. She still managed to sit in the second net worth position, with number 1 belonging to the Lifestealer. He's looking for a higher point, but then a charge just down the hill gets away from Lifestealer. But this is a Hand of Midas Lifestealer. I doubt VG.P is ever going to be able to catch up to his farm.
Yeah. I mean, Ember Spirit can catch up pretty easily if he gets a Battle Fury and is ignored for a little bit. They have decent heroes to catch him out. It depends on how fast Quap can get her Orchid. This is the type of game where, like...
Oh, there we go again. Clockwork hook shot in. That's the second one he's hit perfectly with the Sonic Wave. They wrap up Yang's life very, very quickly. The charge is on the way, is coming from the very, very top. And with the TP in from the Ember Spirit, he's only got the Invis room, but then with a triple Spirit committal. He didn't reach Garda. He was also very scared the fact that Garda would and his turn and Burrow strike him. Hence the retreation away from the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, that is some aggressive play. They just couldn't decide what they wanted to do. Spirit Breaker's charging in, like, are we going? Okay, I'm going to send in 3 Ember Spirits. And then he did make the smart play, though, and ultimately he turned around before it was too late. But that was a little crazy. Yeah. Clockwork, this is proving why he is such a hard counter to Sniper. If you can get level 6, and that's why shutting the Clockwork down if you have Sniper is super important. Because that's, I mean, Earthshaker was stacking. Yeah. He was stacking for Sniper, and, like, he's not even really using the sex. Because this is the time, so as soon as you see Clockwork at 6, if you let him get a lot of farmer, you're like, okay, now you go jungle Clockwork, or not Clockwork, sorry, Sniper, and Earthshaker can just sit mid, and if they want to get level 1 Earthshaker with a Clockwork hook, I'm sure you're okay with that. Plus, you can probably turn around if Sniper's around. But if they're leaving him mid and stacked and he's just dying anyways, it's kind of like, what was the point of not just zoning the Clockwork out and not putting stacks up and letting Sniper just stay mid the whole time? So they kind of are doing 2 different things. Yeah, as of right now, CDEC is definitely showing why they're the favorites to win this game. VG.P is kind of... They're doing okay, but they seem to be hesitant in a lot of their plays, and they don't have like a really solid like plan. They're just sort of going with the flow of things, which can work, but a lot of times if you do that and things go against you, then teams tend to fall apart pretty quickly.
Well, keep my eyes up on this top lane. I'm waiting for the Lifesteal to have another crack at the Spirit Breaker, or vice versa. Because the Lina is also about to crack level 6 on the bottom lane, and moving to the side shop for a TP scroll. Yep. It's about time that VG Potential. I'm just going to make sure I just call him VG.P. I think VG.P sounds so much more snazzy.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, but to kill off this lifestealer, because they have to slow him down, or else he's just gonna start walking over him. Because it's not only the fact that you've got like it's all about the distance closes up against heroes like Sniper and potentially Ember Spirit as well. And lifestealer in combination, the Nake's Bomb with the Clockwork. So far, Clockwork has proven time and time again that he can connect on every single hook. So if you have a lifestealer come in with them, then that Earthshaker Fissure is not going to stop out there, because lifestealer just pops out with the Infest, triggers off Rage and Open Wounds, and you're not running from that. It doesn't matter if you're walking around with your Yasha as a sniper or your full SMY, drum charges and phase breaks. You're not running away from that.
Yeah, that's why they really need to get Force Staff up on, like, I guess Earthshaker or Alina. Earthshaker would much rather just go Blink, but they need to get a Force Staff on someone.
I think the Earthshaker has to go Blink. The Alina with the Yule Scepter can buy a little bit of space, but it's almost worth it for the Sniper. And it might be a little bit taboo to say it, but I think he's the one that has to build the Force Staff.
Yeah, it's okay in some games, but I feel like if your Lina is able to afford, I really hope he's not going Yules. If your Lina is able to afford a Yules, I'd much rather have you just go with Force Staff. And he can, I mean, Yules is okay against some of those heroes, but you're gonna, like, honestly, Force Staff is a counter to like 3 of those heroes. Clockwork and Lifestealer, it's like a hard counter item. And Yules is only really good against like Sand King, I believe.
They're coming top.
There they go.
Lifestealer,
They need to
Fissure,
not let
charge,
them press
assassination. You need something to invest
Nice.
into. And there's nothing. The Laguna Blade helps to ensure the kill, but hilariously enough, is Spirit Breaker, the one who started it all. They get the last hit. But the guy in the chat who's asking for the Dota TV audio, that little white box on the corner of my screen right there, says I'm transmitting into the Chinese servers. If you have no Dota TV audio there, then I'm sorry. It's beyond what I can do.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You can lodge a complaint with
Radiant's
perfect well.
bottom tower is under attack.
This could be a really bad fight for VG.P if they stick around. Looks like they are going to back.
Is that because of the SK Blink Dagger?
Yep, and they did not know about that yet. I mean, you would assume, I think, at this point, if you saw level 7 Sand King and he hasn't really been doing much, that he probably has his Blink, but... And that's probably why they back. They're just like, you know, we haven't seen him in a while. This is just a tier 1 tower. It's full HP. Let's just be careful. And they were probably rewarded, because that's the type of fight where if they push that and 3 people die, it's basically game losing. Sniper might be in trouble mid. Never mind.
He's backed up for both the rocket and the ulti.
If that would have hit with like a co-op, that probably would have been a kill.
And it wouldn't be hard for co-op to actually reach that. Just a blink in for a Sonic Wave if you have to.
Radiant's top
Yeah, I think
tower is
maybe
under
with just
attack.
Sonic Wave it would almost be a kill. She probably need
Dire's
ult,
bottom
but
tower is under
I think she
attack.
would end up dying too, though, because Lina and Earthshaker and like everyone was right there. Or Ember, sorry.
The commitment would be real, but the commitment would be worth it. Keep the sniper down.
For sure.
I'm also looking over towards the Ember Spirit, who's built to just fight a little bit harder in the early stages. So it's the phase boot drum build coming from the Ember, as opposed to going for the raw Battle Fury when you're on that safe lane Ember. That is an option for you. But yeah, VG.P, they're going to try and play together as a squad. Quite literally. All 5 players coming into this mid. A fresh smoke shaker, but it's a little bit late. They're going to take some time before they get out for this. And in the meantime, I'm watching Queen of Pain farming up inside the jungle. The Clockwork's coming back out again. He hasn't got the full blade mail done, but he's getting closer and closer. The SK's having a laugh in mid. And the Ancient Apparition's chilling on bottom, so a long distance to get that ulti off. Okay, their pings are perfectly on the... No, that's the pings coming out from VG.P. I thought for a moment they saw him with that Dire Observer Ward, but there was no way they would smoke on the river.
No, they didn't see the smoke, but they're using a lot of time for this. They need to get something out of it. They basically sat mid for like a minute and a half, grouped up, waited for their items, and they're not going to get anything. That's pretty bad. That's a lot of wasted time.
They did find someone. The Observer Ward they left behind makes them lets them see Lifestealer. The charge is coming, so they keep the vision. So Fissure, Slide of Fissure Chain not able to work. In fact, he's just able to rage it out. And more support. He's asking for someone to TP in here so he can invest into them, but they're not going to have the chance to do so. And now, in fact, Garter is screwed. He couldn't hide inside of the Sandstorm. 1 with the assassination on top of him, and 2 with all those spirits still available for the Ember. So Live Stealer as well as SK
Dire's
dropping
top
very quickly,
tower is
and the
under
Smoke
attack.
Gang still has some level of
Radiant's
success.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was definitely worth it. It was pretty close to failing though. They were like leaving the jungle and they're like, no wait, let's turn around and go back in. And then they found the Lifestealer. They almost botched it too. They didn't quite combo their stuns, and it's hard. That's a pretty hard combo to pull off on Lifestealer. Like they need to initiate with Fissure basically. Then Earthshaker needs to, not Earthshaker, but either Spiritbreaker or Lina have to follow up with like the ult or the stun. But they really can't push towers against this AA Clockwork combo. It's pretty brutal at this early stage. Like all their heroes, that's pretty close.
Yeah, I also thought that AA ulti would last a little bit longer, so then the hook shot would have done a little bit more. But they're both going to TP out to safety. Secret, little lucky, but it's fine. He's a tanky kind of cow.
So that definitely helped them. They were falling pretty behind in XP and gold. I don't really know. I think VG.P, yeah, they have better late game ultimately, like if this goes super late, but if they're getting completely out farmed all over the map, I don't know if that's true. Oh, they're getting pickoffs now though. This is what they really need. They're finding these pickoffs so that they're investing heavily in. Because their cores aren't really farming that much right now. They're just focusing on going for these kills and getting them. Quap's just picked up her Orchid, which is pretty big, because now Ember could have been farming really greedily before, but now that they have a Blink Sand King and an Orchid Quap, has to be afraid. That's why, okay, it looks like he is going to probably go for a Manta, which is what I was thinking he would probably do. I was kind of surprised he didn't just go straight Manta Battle Fury, but the drones build is good as well. It gives him a little more HP. And once he gets a Manta, he's going to be really hard for CDEC to kill the Ember Spirit for a while. They need like Sand King, A ult, and probably still need Orchid just to potentially kill him.
These fishing rockets just looking for vision for CDEC. They're coming in for the tier 1 tower in mid. Queen of Pain was looking for the pickoff for the sniper if he was going to move out of position on the bottom lane. It didn't happen, however. And now with Lina around the corner, they're going to see him with a Burrow Strike. It starts over on the Ember Spirit. With the Rage open wounds, they really want him dead, and they got him dead. Combining up with that AA ulti, Laguna Blade, the Sand King was still going to die the assassination anyway. There's a 2-for-1 trade-off in favor of CDEC. As VG.P also have the tier 1 tower taking considerable amount of damage and a probable re-engage on the way in. I say re-engage. Seeker's just diving himself in, looking for that assassination kill, but it looks like the sniper had to bail out that one. In fact, he got silenced up by the Queen of Pain. That's why it didn't happen. Assassination blink till 2 seconds on cooldown, but 14 HP. There's enough for the Queen of Pain to survive on. He was able to trigger those stick charges and only barely live. But the tier 1 tower will drop, and CDEC will back themselves up. Good fight for them.
Yeah, that was a very ambitious re-engage, I think. They just really wanted to try and get to deny or protect the tower. That was a really nice counter initiation by the Quap, though. He just went in and prevented the A from dying. Made Spiritbreaker kind of waste his life. Spiritbreaker actually picked up a Midas, which is interesting. It's good if they can manage to hang on through this part of the game. It will really, really secure their late game. Because one of the big weaknesses of their heroes is they were going to have a lot of trouble farming once they start getting shut down. It would be basically just them all sitting behind sniper lead farms, and then once Ember gets his Manta, he'll farm on his own, and most likely be pretty safe. But as long as Spiritbreaker has a Midas, it'll help him kind of stay in the game while he's just following around sniper. Let's see. Yeah, we're definitely starting to see the... Oh wow, this got blown up.
Yeah, he's just done it by himself with the Blade Mail. None of Clockwork can really escape from this one, and the answer is no. The assassination is an assured kill. But at the same time, I'm looking at a Live Stealer, moving as quick as he can to find the sniper. But he doesn't have himself any kind of bash, any kind of control. There's just the S&Y build with the armlet. While up on top, nice side of Fist Searing Chain, the silence on the Queen of Pain. Oh, what else have you got? The Burrow Strike from Garda. That's going to bind the space required. With the Echo Send, there will be the kill onto the Sand King. But a bought space for the Queen of Pain to blink and now TP back out to safety. With the side of Fist Searing Chains again, just a fraction of a second too late. Before it was perfect though.
That was a nice stun by the Sand King there to save Quad. Dude, they have some sick looking tabards. I didn't even see those before. They're little flags for the LGD CDEC is pretty nice looking.
I'll have a closer look after this fight up on top. Queen of Pain. Can she catch up to the Ember Spirit? Does Ember Spirit have a defensive spirit? Okay, he doesn't care if he does. Hook shot in, the Blade Mail turns on with the Battery Assault. There's your aggressive spirit. The Queen of Pain just evaporates in here. But the Sniper is in the middle of the fight, the worst place he could be at the moment. The Searing Chain will at least keep the clockwork here. And in Lifestealer having to use his Infest, but Garter about to bring the rain. Blinks himself in. Perfect epicenter! And that is going to come VG.P, an absolute new one. It says only double kill, but I'm telling you that's a triple kill for Garter. Perfect. Perfect counter initiation, and he saved the Lifestealer's life right there. Of course, he did, however, lose a large portion of his own team.
Still definitely worth it in the long run. All the heroes, the basically two most important heroes, arguably, for CDEC lived through that fight. Because Quaff already recently bought all her items, so she, like, her death isn't, you know, super bad. But yeah, this Lifestealer is becoming that nuisance that you were talking about earlier. He's kind of going unchecked, and it's getting to the point where they cannot really deal with him anymore. They're best, so this is where you get to the point where you have to be able to kite him. Like, you have to have a 4-7 at this point in the game. Sniper's going BKB. I really don't know if I like that. I played a null game and got flamed pretty hard because I went mom BKB on Sniper, and I learned my lesson with that. It's just like, you don't do damage if you go that. Sure, you might be able to survive like the Quap blinking in on you or the Sand King epicenter, but you're just not going to do anything. Mid is, oh nice, charge.
Yeah. Gets himself away, or then again, maybe not. Queen of Pain's right behind him. But the rest of CDEC isn't with him, and that's the problem.
Yeah, back to the Sniper. He just needs damage. Yeah, you have to rely on your ability to stay out of the fight, and it is really hard against CDEC's heroes. But that's where the 4-staffs from your teammates come in, and that's where, like, if Lena had a 4-staff right now, and honestly, as Sniper, I think going a 4-staff over VKB would be better this game, just because you can position yourself. Yeah, that's a nice pick. Because if, like, Lena had a 4-staff and Sniper had a 4-staff, and then he went like a Manta or an SNY Scotty type build, he would actually be really mobile, and it would be hard for the Lifestealer to stick on him. So say, like, you blink on top of him, you 4-staff him once while he's wounds away from the Lifestealer, and then you use the second 4-staff to get away once more. Once he catches up, like, and wounds is off, you can just kite the Lifestealer at that point, and it's like super easy peasy.
It just means you have the confidence to play the positional game to do such a thing.
Yeah, but I think when you pick Sniper, you have to have that confidence, because that's basically what you're saying when you pick the hero, like, I can out-position you. And CDEC's like, well, we're going to pick all these heroes that say otherwise, and you just have to play around it. And I think that's the strength of CDEC's lineup this game. They went all in on countering the Sniper. So either they need to invest heavily, either VG.P needs to invest heavily in their Ember Spirit. Oh, massive rotations on Quap here.
Yeah, but she has an Invis rune. There's no detection. The charge let them hold the vision, but there was no one else to follow it up. Ended up being too far away.
Got a smoke and fest gank coming. This is kind of a weird one. Because they know.
Is it a gank or is it a Roshan?
I mean, you wouldn't infest in the Sand King if you're going for Roshan, but they might turn it into that after they realize they can't get anyone.
Yeah, because you'd just smoke and walk into the pit, obviously.
Yeah. But, yeah, they're definitely looking for the pick. I think they didn't expect a full rotation. Like, VG.P's whole team TP top to go for that call.
VG.P's just smoked up, but with the Invis rune, Forest Strike, they get the Orchid, and oh! Oh, Ember! Oh, he used to be a beautiful, beautiful boy, and then he gets just blown apart. Secret also caught on the wrong side of the river. That urn charge is not enough to kill off the Queen of Pain. So 2 players. VG.P will drop. Yang not very healthy. And yeah, send the Lifestealer over and take out the Aegis the Immortal.
Their Roshan is really weak, to be fair. I think they could still do it pretty easily if Clockwork and Lifestealer just do it and Clockwork tanks some. They might not even go for it, though. It's just unnecessary risk at this point, and they don't really need the Aegis. That is such a death spot for Radiant, man. I've seen so many games lost on Radiant teams just casually trying to smoke up the hill, and then all of a sudden, oh, the Dire team's all here casually. We're dead. It's like, it's a dangerous place to smoke as Radiant. You either need to make sure you have positions so you can not get blown up like that if the other team has like an AA Sand King, or you need to go just through the bot lane, because no one's going to be scouting the bot lane, right? If say that you run into each other with smokes going, the Dire team is rarely going to be smoking through to your tier. Well, assuming the tier 2 bot tower isn't there, they're not going to be smoking through that lane very often. So you can at least like enter into your jungle without casually walking up the hill into their whole team. But yeah, that was a particularly unlucky situation.
Well, that situation's put him in a worse one. Spirit Break will be able to get himself off on this top lane. I'm kind of surprised that the lifesteal is not going into an Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, actually I am too. I don't think he really needs... I mean, I'm assuming that is a BKB, or I guess it could be a Heaven's Halberd. Heaven's Halberd's pretty good, but...
But does the helmet make a lot of sense when Sniper did actually buy a BKB?
Not really. And, I mean, he doesn't really need more survivability at this point. He's already almost impossible to for VG.P to kill. The damage would be really nice, and Abyssal Blade would counter the 4 stabs, right? Yeah. So if Sniper buys a 4 staff and you get on top of him, as long as you can like stay on top of him for a little bit, you just Abyssal him and he's basically gonna die in like 4 hits.
Even just these random bashes you can find on a hero like Spirit Breaker currently.
They can't just TP out in lane.
Exactly. So you don't have this overwhelming confidence of I've got so much tank ability or the ability just to charge away whenever the hell I want to. You think twice about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, but we'll see what he does. He actually just has a casual ogre club now.
Yeah.
He went for the Hyperstone. He's just getting a mix. He wants some stats. 55 attack speed, 10 strength. Yeah, you know.
There's easier ways to do that. You could potentially even just buy a Vit. Like a Vit booster would be another way to do it. Yeah, Bracer. Simple Bracer.
He might have accidentally bought it. I don't know. That might have happened.
It's possible.
That happens sometimes.
Like
I mean, I'm assuming it's an AC now. Yeah, maybe he accidentally like rebought the Ogre Club because he tried to buy another SNY or something.
Yeah, it's probably
that. Seems likely.
Well, they're going to beat the living crap out of Roshan, which means Aegis the Immortal into the hands of... Well, I'd actually put it in the hands of Clockwork here and not the Lifestealer, but yeah,
he already dropped his item.
He's dropping that wonderful Ogre Club.
For Clockwork. Clockwork's nice, more HP for me. Now Clockwork's got the Ogre Club, Vit Booster, HP Dream combo. If only it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, no sharing. You can't share like that. This isn't the old days of Warcraft 3 Dota where someone would drop and you can have all their items.
Thank you.
That was the worst way you could lose a game. So what happened? Well, my other 4 teammates died, but now there's a Luna who's completely 6-slotted, and I can't do anything about it. Good days. Rocket flying up, but it's not going to see the Ember Spirit. He's currently invis and inside the Flame Guard. But he's going to try and catch out this Lifestealer. They bumped into each other for a moment, but it looks like Lifestealer didn't notice. He was too busy heading to the top lane. And Ancient Apparition makes the wisest decision he's ever made. Back out of the jungle.
They might have saw that then, and he's like, I think I bumped an Ember Invis, because...
They just didn't ping it, so they must have said it.
Yeah. That's usually not something you'd be completely sure on. You're like, I think I just bumped into an invis person, but I don't know, so be careful for a second. Mid's getting jumped here, but he's completely fine. Garter just wanted to farm the creeps. Let's see, VG.P, what have they done recently? Sniper's managed to pick up a Yasha, which is good. He does need to get damage. I'm assuming that's going to be an SNY. I think you don't go BKB and Manta. I think you just go SNY at that point and go Scotty SNY probably. Spiritbreaker got a Shadow Blade actually. Like, he's the saving grace of this game. If he can manage to use that Shadow Blade to get some nice pickoffs, that would be huge.
They found one pickoff. That's going to be the lean. Not with the Shadow Blade, and not with the team that you're talking about. He also said the Zup's going to be nice, but he's still affected by this Chilling Touch. Not the Chilling Touch, the other part. The Ice Blast. Clockwork, that's well off target. Spiritbreaker managed to find himself a trade-off. They're going to go into the epicenter, but the Fissure can't start one off. Ink with the Echo Slam. The Cogs are pushing him back a little bit further. In fact, now as VG.P are getting a little bit more of the advantage, and then all of a sudden, Lifestealer opens up that Quap ulti. The Sonic Wave spilling down to the Spiritbreaker, who's on the lower part of the ground. And that means the only player left alive is the Ember Spirit, who's running back to base to heal up. So CDEC, great fight for them, only costing them the Clockwork as well as the Ancient Apparition.
That fight looked so good for VG.P for a second. That was like their comeback fight. That's going to be hard to come back from. Because they almost had all the supports dead without losing like anyone really, and then all of a sudden just turned around on them. I guess Lena was dead because she got picked off right away, but other than that. Now Lifestealer has Aegis. I feel like, yeah, VG.P's just... This is the problem with Ember not going Manta, like rushing it, is he's getting to the point now where he can't farm aggressively. If he had his Manta and was playing like well with his Spirit placement, he'd be able to farm pretty aggressively and push creeps across the map without too much danger to himself, unless Lifestealer had that Abyssal Blade. But now, he just has to play really passively and sit at towers. They're going to slowly get, like, just out-farmed and...
They're going to get out-pushed. Like, you want him to sit at towers. If you're going up against the Assault Killer Astalon from CDEC, they're just going to start mopping through buildings.
Yeah, they'll use the Aegis plus that.
They found an opening. In fact, Quap, whoop, blinks himself in. He thinks he got the lead just out by himself, and then Spirit Breaker reveals. Blink in 1 second, 1 second too far. As another strike from Secret controls him perfectly.
It's a really good pick. They need to get that over and over again. They just need to keep using the Shadow Blade Spirit Breaker to get as many pickoffs to individuals as they can. Keep their wards up, and try and just separate CDEC, because they do not win team fights right now. If they can take the game out to like 50 to 60 minutes and keep farming on their Sniper and Ember, I think that VG.P will win team fights, but as is, they have a lot of time to go. Aegis, or not Aegis, Assault Cuirass was just picked up by Lifestealer. Yep. What's their timer on Aegis? I guess they got
only like
2 minutes?
Yeah, no, I only got the 1 minute left. In fact, like 50 seconds left on the Aegis.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard for them to like use that. I guess I could just run down mid right now if they wanted to and try and like suicide into the tower, but probably not a good choice, because if they lose the Aegis and die, that would be really bad, because Lifestealer doesn't have 5
for a fight. Like that's all it really has to be. It's the Lifestealer. The Aegis for him, I don't think he really has too much of a problem if it's gone or not, because the Lifestealer is just so big that the only way they're going to kill him is if they catch him out with his rage down. And even then, you can't. I don't think there's not enough control. You have to commit both the Spirit Breaker and the Earthshaker to kill off that Lifestealer, because he's just going to either armlet toggle you out, rage, and infest. And what do you do after that point?
Yeah.
You've committed everything you've got to kill a Lifestealer. He then just regenerates up almost instantly, and you're back at square one, but without all the abilities you had at square one.
Yeah, they would need some favorable things to go in their way. Okay, he picked his Oracle back up. Good.
Yeah.
he's got his casual Oracle.
Nice blink fire
no.
with a Sonic Wave hook shot. They're holding him here so the Ancient Apparition Blast can do its work. And the Ember Spirit down for 60 seconds. You did commit Sonic Wave for this, but it's worth it.
That was a little bit cocky. He picked up his Manta, and the first thing he does is he goes and farms the most dangerous part of the map. He's like, well, I'm immortal now. I'm not quite like anti-5 hero immortal. He would have lived if it was like 1 or 2, but since he got hit by AA, Clockwork Hook, and Quad Ball, is just too much to handle.
That Quad Bolt's going to be flying out even more. In 25 gold, you've got the Aghanim Scepter upgrade for the Queen of Pain.
And I think once he has that, he'll still just kill, or he'll kill Ember Spirit and a stun, I think, from Sand King, even with just that and like a few right clicks. It'll be close.
I'm also going to flag the fact that how is VG.P meant to breach high ground with what they've got? Because you look at it.
Well, they have a sniper. If it gets to the point that they can actually... Oh, you mean CDEC or VG.P?
I'm talking about VG.P because I'm looking at this and, well, okay, goodbye, Queen of Pain.
The Spirit Breaker, I told you, man, he's the saving grace. This guy's owning.
I'm just thinking if CDEC hold from the high ground, then you've got Ice Blast, you've got Epicenter, you've got Clockwork Rockets, you've got Sonic Wave. All of these things can be spammed out once the Aghanim Scepter is up. So getting the creep wave onto the high ground, let alone keeping it alive long enough that they can tank, like the creep wave can tank up instead of you while you bring down buildings, that's a little bit harder. Yes, a sniper can attack from range, no problem with that whatsoever, especially as he's building now into this Monkey King bar. But like the rest of VG.P then have to put their bodies on the line to make sure that he can get that damage. Because I don't think even the 4 points up and take aim is going to give him enough space away from CDEC. Not from that Clockwork Hook.
Yeah. If we ever get to the point where VG.P is actually attacking CDEC's buildings, it's going to be, like I said, 50 to 60 minutes in the game, and they are going to need to kill CDEC beforehand, like you said. So, I mean, they're not going to be pushing into a team of 5, probably. They'll have to push for some sort of advantage. And they can take a high ground push if they have, like, an Aegis on Sniper or something along those lines, or he's really farmed. Can they combo him?
Yeah, I
nice.
think so.
Don't let him cast anything. Good job. Well, I'm not supposed to cheer for them, but I like to root for the underdog, so I like to see comebacks.
you can give him props, man. You can give him props.
Good job. Good combo.
Yeah.
Now, so they're going to get this tower now, right? Because, I mean, sure, CDEC has all these things, but if Sniper just hits... Oh, they don't want to risk it, which might be smart. Sniper's BKB's up, though, so if he's fast on his fingers, I don't think he needs to be too afraid.
I think they're more concerned about like what SK can do in combination with the Queen of Pain. If you get the Epicenter Sonic Wave onto multiple heroes, It's just a lot of damage to come your way that you don't really want to try and deal with.
Alright, that was a huge pick. Now they have some time to farm. Lifestealer is going into Black King Bar, which I find kind of odd. Because like we said, he wants to be able to stick on heroes in fights, especially towards the end of the game. If VG.P starts to get 4-staffs and stuff and he doesn't have an Abyssal, it's going to be really hard for him to stick on a target. And we just saw what happened. He had Rage up. It didn't matter. Like, it's not like he needs more magic immunity time. He just needs to get his magic immunity off.
Yeah.
And that's because he needs to get the initiation. Like, CDEC needs to be initiating the fights. If they're not, they'll probably lose. And then if they do, they'll probably win. That's basically the story of this game. Whoever gets the initiation will most likely win the fight.
It's just hilarious that you build an item which you technically have from level 1 as an ability.
I mean, he has it already, though, to be fair. He's very farmed.
Yeah.
I don't really know why Sniper's going MKB here. Maybe he thought that was going to be a Heaven's Halberd, but I find it kind of weird.
I'm not 100% certain why Shiki just did this. But he threw out the Sonic Wave to push out the mid lane before the Aghanim Scepter are being delivered.
Oh my.
So
That's unfortunate.
I'm assuming he thought it was delivered, but it actually wasn't. Because the courier came very close to him on top lane when he died. So maybe he just didn't look. But the courier was also, again, moving down middle lane with it. Did they increase the model size of the ancient granite columns?
I think they did, actually, by a little bit. I vaguely remember that.
I just browse over the top with a mouse. I'm just like, you know what? He's
pretty big.
They've had a big... Yeah, he looks buff. He looks more buff than before. He's been working out at the gym.
Alright, so
really
Aegis number 2
will
be going to the Dire for sure here.
Yeah, there's no way that... VG.P can't even contest this if they wanted to. It puts them into a horrible choke point and they can't play their positional game, which is everything.
Are they gonna give this a Quap? Okay, that's pretty surprising to me, actually. Quap, she kind of... Even though she has the Ags, she just blows her spells and then that's like pretty much the center of her fight. Lifestealer, if he has the Aegis, he can go really extreme and he can dive, especially with BKB. Because say you burn your Aegis and you don't have Rage up, that's bad because then if you respawn, they can just combo you to death and you can't move. But if you have BKB and Rage, that's like the one benefit of having it, right? You can BKB or I mean, there's no way you're not gonna have Rage or BKB up if you have an Aegis and you die. If that happens, then something was probably done wrong. But now, like, if the Lifestealer gets comboed and doesn't cast any Rage spells and VG.P recognize this and don't let him get anything off, like, he doesn't even have buyback. Obviously he's farming right now, but even if he has buyback, he'll never have enough for bots in time. So, like, the plan with this Aegis, if I was CDEC, would have been to end the game. Because I don't really think you're going to get much stronger. Lifestealer, I mean, he can obviously change out some items and he'll probably get an Abyssal Blade instead of his Midas. And, I mean, he can get bots, and maybe he can get, like, like Daedalus or something. I don't really know what would be better than like an SNY. Maybe a Butterfly or something along those lines. But, I mean, Sniper already has an MKB, so Butterfly's not even good. Yeah, I don't know, but like I was saying, I would have wanted to end the game with this, and I think you need your tower hitter to have the agency trying to end the game, and that's certainly Lifestealer in this situation.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. At the same time, maybe Queen of Pain could just play the bait game. Blink herself in, try and get them to focus on her, and then the follow-up. I know it sounds weird to do it that way, but Queen of Pain has always been that kind of hero which is run in at the end and mob up the pieces.
Yeah,
would be
and a lot of times. True.
Oh, Blink, Barret, they need more help. Hawkshot's gonna come in, and that's with the Infest. Very quick kill over on the Ember Spirit, and they're searching for more. The Queen of Pain's moving over, but the TP's already going out from James.
You might see him.
He's gonna go into the trees though.
Oh,
maybe
he's just passing through.
There's no stuns. There's no nothing.
That was so dangerous. If there was a stun there, that's Sand King was moderately close.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I don't know. The Spearbreaker is starting to get really farmed. If he's like, I'd say this next fight is going to determine who wins the game. If VG.P can hold through this Aegis and like take a really good fight, they will be in Oh, that's dangerous.
Oh,
I don't think they want to be
it.
ganking. Yeah, they don't know where anyone's at because the gem on Quap has been dewarding the whole map, so they're playing on no vision right now. Basically, VG.P is, and they just need to play defensively and try and split push and farm when they think they can do it safely. Going for risky ganks on heroes in mid when there's still a tier 1 alive is just unnecessary to them right now.
I actually don't see a way that VG.P could win this. Like, I'm looking at their lineup, and I don't see the Spirit Breaker being able to achieve anything anymore. Because the Lifesteal is just too big. Even if he does charge in and unload everything he's got.
He doesn't really want to go on him, though.
No,
I think he wants to go on, like, the Sand King or the Quap, preferably.
But if you go on the Sand King, like, even this SK has a BKB and a 4-star. You're going to have a hard time killing him off. 1,800 life points to get through. And
True.
And you want to go on the Queen of Pain? She's even got 1,900 life points to get through. When on Strength Treads, of course. Because of the beautiful stats that come out from the BKB as well as the Aghanim Scepter. So she's a difficult hero to kill. The easiest hero to kill is the Ancient Apparition. But the way Ancient Apparition works just mechanically is he's always going to be back from the fight. So he gets the bigger radius for the Ice Blast. Especially with an Aghanim Scepter, hitting that thing is the winning kind of ability for CDEC. If that connects, they only need a little bit more follow-up damage, and VG.P just fall over.
A actually just got a Ghost Scepter too, so he's not really a good target. But I mean, so what Snipe he can try and do, like, is he can, if the Lifestealer overcommits, especially without Aegis, he can try and ult him and just stun lock him. Like when, say, the BKB or the Rage is ending, before he can pop the other one in between it, try and ult him and stop him from getting the next one off. I think there's still lots of things for Spirit Breaker to do. I really don't think that hero's I mean, it's a pretty strong Lincoln hero. If he can get an AC and potentially another item, I mean, he's pretty close to AC. And he's doing a really good job of splitting the map. Like, look at this. He just shows in the lane, kills 3 creeps, TP's out. CDEC's all, like, chasing him around the map, trying to push the lanes back in that he just pushed. This is exactly what he needs to be doing while Aegis is up. I mean, I certainly think that Lifestealer eventually can fall off, but he's not really the carry. It's the Ember and the Sniper that are the true threats to CDEC in the late game. I guess the problem with that, though, is this Ember is dirt poor. Sniper's not doing that bad. Ember is very, very behind. He needs to get his Battle Fury.
Actually, is he going for the Battle Fury? Because I see the Claymore there. What else have we got? Because I'm wondering now if they feel they need some level of initiation beyond that of the Spirit Breaker. Because they're not finding it from the Earthshaker. Yes, he has the Blink Dagger and Arcane Boost, but that's kind of all he's got. The Lena's building into an Aghanim Scepter, but didn't get a Blink or a Force Staff. So they got nothing else still up against this Clockwork. And no way just to initiate straight away either. And I don't want to say Shadowblade into Searing Chains is the greatest thing in the world. I feel it's also going to be the Battle Fury. But what other options does VG.P have? They need to find a kill on CDEC outside their base when they have the number advantage. Or the
I think they don't.
Advantage.
Well,
you want to wait until CDEC comes in?
Yep. That's exactly what I want to do.
This is China, man. These guys are not going to come high ground anytime soon. You can't just sit back and expect that CDEC is going to come and breach your tier 3 towers when all 5 of your heroes have got buyback. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like,
if that's not going to happen, then you're perfectly content with that because they're behind like 15k gold and 15k experience. They can't really, like, I mean, they're obviously behind. They can't do anything about that. But you're not going to want to use the Ember Spirit to do those types of things. Spirit Breaker, like, that's what he's been trying to do, sort of, and he's been semi-successful. Like, he's the one that has to look for those pickoffs outside of the base. And when you're doing those pickoffs, you don't want to. I don't think you really want to look for a team fight because we've seen every time that VG.P has run into CDEC outside of the base, like, they've lost in a team fight situation. But if it's a solo kill, like, Spirit Breaker is great for that. I think they just need to try and wait for CDEC to
they found one. They found the Spirit Breaker. He managed to get a little bash proc out from the Lifestealer in the middle of that attack. And he's the only one with buyback from VG.P. VG.P were trying to run baits. They had Ember Spirit walking out just up to here in the mid, and hoping that the guys on the hillside were going to jump down, and then they could just counter pounce.
Yeah, unfortunately, they saw the Spirit Breaker and went on him instead. That ward right there was helping them out. I think he's pinging out the wards. I believe that's what that frantic ping from the blue player was. They do have a gem, they just didn't check over there. Wait, where's their gem at? Oh, it's on Sniper now. For some reason, it's kind of weird. Oh, they put in his illusions to scout for the thing. That's not weird, that's smart.
And he passes straight back again. So, yeah, that's actually really cool. I like that.
It's a good way to de-ward things when you know there's a ward there and you don't want to send your heroes out to do it because you don't know where the enemy team is. If you look at the Radiant's vision right now, they're in a dangerous situation. Lifestealer. Alright, that's interesting.
He's actually switching halfway. Why wouldn't you finish the Abyssal Blade?
Well, he's saving for buyback, I think, at all times, and I guess he's just like, I want to spend some more money. This is the cheapest thing I can buy, like right now, before we go for
a heart recipe. It's
I mean, because there's the careers on at the shop. I don't know.
What are you looking to drop here? He's got no
armlet for sure. I would replace an armlet with a heart. I mean, he's looking towards, like you said, they're not pushing high ground. They're content with farming. Everyone just likes to farm, so he's gonna go for the super 6 slot. He's not satisfied with just 6 items. He wants full 6 slot.
Well,
he's gonna wait till he has 3 cheeses probably and a refresher orb.
Can't use 3 cheeses at one time.
Yeah, but he wants them.
There's no joy on that if you're trying to go for that level of strategy.
Like you said, I mean, I think it's not a horrible choice from CDEC because they don't have a base pushing lineup. Like, it's hard for them to go high ground. It's hard for them to do much when, if they push into VG.P in the base. I agree, like you said earlier, it's just a dangerous play for CDEC. But I think if they had the Aegis and the Lifestealer earlier, like with that second Aegis, they could have done it pretty safely and probably taken a Rax pretty convincingly. But they just like got kited around the map by Spirit Breaker, had the Aegis on Quap, and I think they got a tier 2 or 2 out of it. But I think they could have gotten the tier 2s and the base if they would have been a little more efficient with it. But they're content with farming. I mean, their heroes, their whole team is just farming the whole map because they've used their gem to de-ward everything, and VG.P is just sitting in their base, like, huddled together saying, what are we going to do? And they can still win the situation if, like, I think they need to be farming as 5 together more, though, because they should know that at this point CDEC is just, like, they're done camping them. They're just farming the whole map, which they are. Like, their whole team is farming, like, different parts of the map and waiting for their next items and the next Roshan.
The next Roshan they have to fight. But the problem is Roshan could have spawned over a minute ago.
Yeah,
so
checking it.
They're not coming out for it. And the creep waves, if we draw a line on the mini-map right now, this is kind of it. This is the line of the creep waves of VG.P. They're all past it. So they're not getting close enough to get any of the experience, any of the money. CDEC is controlling up Radiant as well as Dire Jungle when they want to. Like, I almost feel like when the creep waves are pushed out like that, your only real option is to move out as 5 and try and find a pick-off. Because CDEC is still feeling so confident with everything they're doing that it's getting over-aggressive and running around. They're going to find the first opening. And, well, BKB from both of the players. The hookshot's still available, however, and if he can get the line right, which he can't, would have interrupted the Spirit Breaker's charge out.
Yeah. Well, now they know where they're at. So what I would have done, like, okay, that was a pretty good play by Spirit Breaker. He showed 3 heroes and made space on the map. They need to go out bottom right now and like de-ward, which it looks like they're trying to do. But they need to make, like, they have their own gem. They're being way too afraid right now of like CDEC's presence on the map. I mean, they need to be to a certain extent, but they need to use the smoke and they need to try and get some of their own map control up. And then, like you said, get a pick. It's really hard to just go for a blind pick against CDEC's heroes. You like to just smoke out and hope you have like a good run-in with someone. Oh, here we go. They saw him actually right when he was about to Shadowblade. He's still chasing in Shadowblade though. This might work.
How much damage do they got?
Oh,
He's got Force and Burrow Strike.
Yeah. They gotta like stomach him to death. He's actually coming back. And they're all back. Alright. So that was one gank attempt.
They're trying. They're realizing what I was talking about. The creep wave's out too far. They're not finding anything on the map. They're not moving themselves into an end result where you're going to win. And that's kind of what you got to make a decision on. This is the reason why the GG function was added into the game. Because you have to know where and how you're going to win. If you still have a plan for that, then never type GG. But you got to have a plan.
Invisibility.
And farming up a sniper inside the base is not that much of a plan when he can get completely exploded by a CDEC in a very short space of time. Like that's even if Sniper is able to sit in the high ground and dish out some damage to CDEC, He's probably still going to lose a building. They still have to get through 1 tier 1, 3 tier 2s, 3 tier 3s, and the 2 tier 4s. Like, they got so much map control to gain that it'll take 3 or 4 fights, going almost fully the way of VG.P for CDEC to lose this game. And I find it hilarious too that Livestealer is in fact leaving the armlet on the ground, and picking up the Aegis the Immortal. He just sold the armlet, so he's gonna
buy his heart.
He's gonna buy the full harp. He doesn't have a slot for it. Well, unless he's gonna drop the basher.
I think you can get rid of SNY here if you want to, because he doesn't really need.
He's dropping the basher.
I guess he doesn't need the basher to hit buildings, so he's just gonna leave it in the trees and bring it to him if he runs out of Aegis.
Is he gonna use? No, he's not gonna use the heart just for a pure regeneration and then switch it out, right?
I don't know. I'm interested to see what he's doing. This is fun. Let's play the guessing game. Okay, he's infesting. He's just leaving the basher in the trees for after his Aegis runs out. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, Cluckles, I hope you got a lot of rocket power inside those little jets. I think you're here for the long haul, man.
Just need Sniper to run up there and just casually shrapnel and poke it really quick, and that would be pretty nice. Well, but that'd be insane.
Are they gonna do the gem check again?
Worthy tribute.
I'm still also not quite sure about Earthshaker being the one to hold the gem.
Yeah, I think Spearbreaker, because he can kind of venture out with the Shadow Blade and look for rewards by himself. That would be instead of just having a casual Hyperstorm Plate Mail or even his Midas, like he can leave his Midas in base when it's on cooldown and go venture out for rewards. That would probably be a pretty safe way to look for him. Even if he can't kill him, you just know where they're at. Then your heroes can actually like push out and farm the jungle a little bit, push lanes out sort of securely. I think that, I mean, at this point it's too late for VG.P to do that, but top. Yeah. Jumping on him. He did dodge it all though. Sanking's actually, that was close.
They're coming in for a counter initiation. The Clockwork, beautiful hook shot in, and they're trying to beat into secret. No basher to control him, however. The Shiva's Guard from the Queen of Pain. The BKB still up for the Spirit Breaker, but look how fast that Lifesteal is just running in. So the first casualty will be there as the Spirit Breaker. Then the Blink Fire Strike, Clockwork, hook shots back in again. They've lost guard with the Sonic Wave. There's still not enough damage to kill off this Ember. Considering also the Spirit Breaker ball back, and is now in fact going to be a dieback. He's just buying space the rest of his team with the Echo Slam. I think they've actually got enough for this. The Livestealer, he's got no armlet to toggle. He has the Aegis Immortal as the Clockwork just keeps bouncing around from hook to hook. The Ice Blast, that's a nice position. It's too late though. It should be enough to kill off the Lina. She'll die inside the base. There's nothing she could do about it. The CDEC has a lot of sacrifice for them to achieve what they just had. They do get a couple of buybacks, and Livestealer still battling inside the base, able to get one, gets the bash off, so he's got that back up on him after the Aegis Immortal is expended. And there's the control I was looking for from him. The Burrow Strike, Garda underneath the tower, Blink, Scream, Sonic Wave, and they take the Earthshaker out as well. Nicely played. They need to get the Livestealer in close, so they move over to the Ember Spirit. He's got no spirits left. With the hook shot in, I think this is GG, man. CDEC has killed them off so many times. All the buybacks are being used right now. In fact, there is nothing left. They brought back 4 heroes in this engagement. And the Ember doesn't want to go anywhere near the front lines.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a really nice infest. Like in the middle of the fight, he just jumped in, or towards the end of the fight, I suppose, jumped in the clock and just blinked on top of him. It wasn't ready for that. It was pretty obvious. That was almost a nice fight from VG.P. If only they had that happen earlier. Yeah, the big turning point in this game was when CDEC got the gem, and they just like cleaned out the whole map of wards, and then they did not let VG.P leave the base. I've seen so many teams lose games like that, and it's a normal way to lose games. Like you get afraid the other team's ahead. They have really good pick heroes, but like you said, you always have to sit in the base to a certain extent. You have to play cautiously, but if you literally just sit in the base as 5 and wait for the creep players to come to you and the enemy team abuses that, you're going to lose the game eventually. They're just too farmed. If they just needed like a little bit more. They were so close to winning that fight, even with being massively behind. They just needed like one more item on Ember and like a force staff on Lina. I'm telling you, man, that would have been different. Like even if you had a force instead of that, Yules could have been game changing. Because that Sniper, when he got ran at by the Lifestealer in the base after he had bought back already. No, this was before the buyback. Before he bought back, he just got run at and just died because his BKB was down. And he had no way to survive. Earthshaker and Lina were both standing next to him with no force staff.
All right, Clockwork. Let's see his accuracy time. I don't think that's enough, though. Okay, it does connect, but it's not enough damage.
Alina still had Yules up too. So he could use that if he valued his life highly. They're still hanging in there. That's the one thing. Very tenacious.
For now.
I really hope
that'll
CDEC
just
isn't going to wait for the next Roshan. I mean, that would be the smart play, but come on. Did they even use buyback? They didn't even use buyback on Meister there. He's got an Abyssal Blade now. Like, he still has buyback up. They don't need to wait for Rosh. They can just run in there and...
Yeah,
they just need to kill Sniper because he doesn't have buyback, right? So just kill Sniper one game. Actually, like, did they all expend buybacks? Yep. Every single person on VG.P used buyback there.
Yeah, apart from the Earthshaker. He's the only one, but he doesn't have it. He's short by
right.
300
He's
gold.
poor.
Yep. CDEC, they're smoked up. They're moving in through the mid. The Ancient Apparition is still staying with the team, but a little bit further back. The only one not being smoked. And the hook shot, well, it did get up there on top of the Spirit Breaker. He's going to charge as well as now the strike, but the Abyssal Blade controls him perfectly. And with the Sonic Wave. So SB's down, and the extra follow-up. It's at least a nice Echo Slam. But as you can see with all the BKBs and Rages, there's just nothing more to be done. And with an E-Blade on the Queen of Pain, even the Ember Spirit, one can't survive. Okay, you're farming him inside the fountain. This is over. GG. Game number 1 takes 55 minutes. Potentially it could have taken 35. But VG.P wanted to make CDEC work for it.
It did. That last fight was pretty nice from VG.P, but they just couldn't quite turn it around. Well, overall, I think, like you said, the life story just kind of snowballed, and that Ember Spirit got shut down really hard. He went like 0 and 5 in the early stages. He would have gotten an earlier Manta, and they could have like farmed a little more aggressively. Because imagine if Ember was like 4 slotted in that last fight, or even just equivalent to Sniper and farm. I think that it could have gone way differently.
Well, man, after that, I'm feeling pretty confident that CDEC should be able to take game number 2, even though VG.P did put up a pretty decent fight. Let's see how they go. We'll have a short break and back here in just a moment.